We have this from the Post-Millennial. Local media outlet confirms Nashville trans school shooters' anti-white manifesto pages are authentic. And then we have, of course, an investigation is currently underway after release of alleged Covenant shooters' writings, Nashville mayor says. So it's confirmed now. I believe we have multiple reporters confirming this, that the individual was motivated by anti-white hatred. And now all of a sudden we're starting to see these videos pop up. People are basically, and they've been doing this for a while, but they're pulling, they're making montages of all of the insane college professor and university rhetoric around violence targeting white people. And there was one that I saw on Twitter that's so shocking and insane. It's no wonder people are being radicalized by this. People are also calling out Joe Biden, who has made numerous speeches about the problems and dangers of white supremacy. Now, you can certainly argue that people are allowed to criticize and condemn white supremacy. Of course they are. But when these universities and media outlets claim that simply having a family is white supremacy, you can see how the rhetoric starts getting crazy. Now, I guess the questions are, was the FBI and were the police withholding this intentionally because of what it contained, or is something else going on?
I mean, it might be possible, because I believe there are certain people that were ex-FBI agents. They're working at Facebook.
This next story, we have a tweet from Steven Crowder. Facebook is now censoring the Nashville Manifesto. This is what we saw almost immediately after the story broke. This is what the news, this is what big tech companies do. Many news media outlets, they didn't want to cover the story. Social media companies don't want to get into any kind of debate. And this is a serious problem. We now know, based on local reporting and statements from local politicians, the leaks from Steven Crowder are real. And at the time, Facebook was taking them down. Google had their stupid alert when you searched for it saying, the results are changing rapidly. Here are some other stories instead, which is what they do when they don't want you to read these stories. Here's what happens. Big tech companies basically say, if it doesn't come from the New York Times, we will not allow it. If, however, you get 5,000 local outlets reporting it, then there's nothing they can do to stop it. But they tried to stop it. And so, fortunately, I guess local news outlets immediately jumped on the story, broke through, and the story made it out. I think one of the biggest fears that Facebook and YouTube and many of these other platforms, not Rumble, not X, for instance, their fear, Steven Crowder just set the news cycle.
Right.
And the New York Times is going to try to avoid it. They're going to be like, no, don't pick up his story. We're the ones who decide what people are talking about. But they've been losing that position. Steven Crowder was questioned by these news outlets. How do you know it's real? And we stand by our reporting. And it is a political comedian on YouTube who broke the biggest story today.
You know what stands out about this manifesto is the fact that he wrote this. There were several times I could have been caught, especially back in the summer of 2021. And that makes me think the FBI might have known something about this. I guess we'll never know because they didn't want to release the manifesto anyway. And now the fact that a comedian, political, released it, the first thing people want to do is investigate it how it got released. And now that they cannot hide it, Audrey killed those kids, those going to private fancy school with a fancy Kika sports backpacks with their daddy's Mustangs plus convertibles. You little shits, I wish to shoot your weak ass dicks with your mop yellow hair. Wanna kill all your little bunch of little f***ts, you fuck you f***ts. And that is only one of the 3 pages that was released. I'm not here to demonize people. Whenever somebody doesn't want to release something, usually they think they're going to lose the battle. Especially the middle ground battle, because they don't want the middle ground. Now that everybody is reporting it, you want to investigate it. But if the message is consistently at a school and you're also taking specific medicine and you go to psychologists to help you find your way, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not an expert. I'm not a psychologist. I don't need to be an expert to understand this is a recipe for disaster, that you're promoting something that white people are bad, and then you're surprised, oh, we didn't see this coming. And then you know that she bought a gun and then she sold it. And she might have been on the watch list. I'm starting to thinking something doesn't fit, you know? That's how I feel. I'm not a psychologist. I don't know what is happening in her brain. But all these weird mistakes that seems to be happening, it makes me realize you might have motivated way more by doing nothing and blaming other people. You are using an oppressed protective class to push an ideology to send a message. And now I know why you want to hide this message. But not only was the message right here a little homophobic, right? Some people can't even accept their gayness, and you push them in another direction, and that's dangerous, you know? Come on, look at that. You pushed the message, somebody believed it, and officially you're freaking responsible for this. That's what I think. I'm not an expert, by the way, but hey, like the button. I would appreciate that though.